Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Astrology Circle podcast. I'm Samantha Hammer, and I am joined with James Pipitone. How are you
Hello.
doing, James?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm really excited to talk to you today. We're kind of doing this new thing of astrology stories. It's a new segment we're going to do, and I just really want to get the story from James himself because he's recently become engaged, and I want to hear all about your proposal
Yes, recently engaged,
and
and
how it got astro, with it.
yeah,
How you
well, yeah. As an astrologer, you kind of reach a point where you go kind of loopy, and you're like, oh, everything's connected to everything. So as the engagement was thought of, set up, planned about, the whole nine yards, finalized, and then when it occurred, I was just like oozing in astrology at that point. There's so much to talk about.
Well, yeah, because electional astrology is a whole branch of astrology. If you are familiar, I know you are, James, but basically, an election is exactly as it sounds. It's a time that you choose to make something happen. But sometimes we don't have that luxury. So, what with James you were working with is basically a window of time that you didn't necessarily choose, but you wanted to use the astrology to your benefit still, in the way what your knowledge knows in like regards to what would be fruitful to this event. So I kind of wanted to just hear what your theories were on how you made that happen.
Yeah, so this is kind of expansive, but it
I want
starts
every detail.
okay. So we'll give the full breakdown then. So I have a fourth house stellium and two malefics, the Sun and Mercury. So in Pisces. So there is a lot of connection with the family, karmically, ancestrally, blah, 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 right? And so my seventh house ruler is Mercury, which is in the fourth. And so that led to like a lot of feelings and emotions tied to the family life and what it means to have a family and all that. And so, fast forward to February, March of 2025. And this was the part where I basically decided for sure that I was going to propose this year, meaning 2025. And so turns out I didn't even realize this bad astrology moment that there was an eclipse going on in the Pisces Virgo axis. I didn't even realize that at the
It
time.
happens. It happens.
Right. So, eclipses, they can kind of like you just don't realize what's going on. You always
They
think
sneak up on you, like legitimately sometimes.
they do. So I went through this whole period, and this is pretty. I don't want to go too far beyond the bend, but basically, I had like a massive spiritual awakening, and it led to me just realizing what really matters in life, basically. And so I want to get. I was ready to go. I was like, all right, let's do it in like a few months. Let's do it ASAP. But at the time, Saturn, Moon, Sun, well, maybe not the moon. Yeah, not, I don't know, the exact time was a little off, but the Sun, Saturn, and Mercury were all in Pisces. That's what's important. And there
You're
was
talking
some,
about for the engagement timeline now. We're in Italy now
no,
times.
no,
Okay, sorry.
spoiler alert.
Sorry.
This was
Spoiler alert,
planned.
it's the most gorgeous engagement you've ever seen in your life. It's something right out of a freaking movie, or like, I mean, no movie even does it that well, in my opinion. It's like you did such an amazing thing. Spoiler
Oh,
alert. Sorry.
yeah,
I'll shut
appreciate
up.
it. It took a fuck ton of work, and I'll get to that
Yes.
briefly. But yeah, so at the moment that I decided I was going to propose this year in my, I think it was 6 year relationship at this point, about to be seven, um, the Sun and Saturn. I'm going through my Saturn return,
Yeah.
and so it was like delays essentially. So I was like, all right, how am I going to do this? So then fast forward. So it was during an eclipse, and then fast forward um, to I had months of planning, yada yada, and then actually during the actual eclipse like window was
Yeah.
when I was looking at rings specifically, and I was like, okay, this is definitely going to happen, and I decided that I'm going to do it on a trip to Italy during I kind of wiggled my way into doing it a two-part trip in Italy. The first half being my fiance's birthday, and then the other half being like the engagement celebration. So that was like decided during the eclipse window. So it was a Pisces Virgo eclipse. So which happens in my fourth and tenth, and it connects to my seventh house. So we'll get to that. So we fast forward to the actual proposal, And this was tons of planning. Ch The mutability quality and the Jupiterian quality was I actually, you know, I didn't tell you this, but when I first started dating my fiance, Kristen, within like that month or something, I wrote down exactly how I wanted to propose to her, like to the T. I wrote the whole thing down. First month we started dating because I just knew, like, you know, you just know. And then fast forward,
Yeah.
7 years fucking later, but
I
whatever.
love it. I absolutely love it. Yep.
And the way I wanted to do it was so Jupiterian. It was just like I wanted to be in the clouds on the hot air balloon and looking down, you see a huge thing of sunflowers that says, "Will you marry me?" That was like my
You
plan.
have to like give her that like page out of your journal to like as
Yeah.
a gift one day.
Well, yeah, that's a good idea. I was super disappointed I couldn't do it, but
I mean, you did so much better in my opinion. So carry
honestly,
on.
in retrospect, yeah, it actually was way better. But went through so many iterations with like spoke to like the mercurial quality of the main aspect was that Mercury in Pisces, and it was like so many things, so many options, so many things changing. Fast forward to the actual proposal. So I guess I'll put up like photos of and videos of what was
Yes.
happening.
Yeah.
But it was really crazy because the day of it was like raining on the way there, and this was the chart. So let me set the stage. So I'm a Sagittarius rising, and the I don't know the exact time. I have to find the exact time. I actually misprepared. I just pulled up the day, but for me, the moon was transiting my first, so emotional. Venus was in my ninth house in Leo, opposing Pluto in the third, and then Jupiter was in Cancer in the eighth. We had Saturn, Neptune in the fifth in Aries conjunct, and then the Sun in the 10th, Uranus in my seventh. So what's interesting was like, and the North Node was in the fourth house, and the South Node in the 10th because of the eclipses. And what's interesting is like, and the other thing is you had Mars in the 11th. So what was funny was we go on this trip. We spend like the first 3 days in Puglia, and then we go to Matera, which is like this the oldest city, which is very Saturnian. I
Yeah.
just realized this. It's like the oldest city, one of the oldest cities in the world. It's where they film like Passion of the Christ, and they film like all these different like ancient shows,
Hell yeah.
ancient whatever. And so I knew that this place would be the favorite place for her because she's into like that like aesthetic. So it was raining on the way there. The photographer is messaging me, "Hey, it's supposed to downpour. What do we do?" The florist is texting me, "Hey, it's gonna downpour. Like, what's like the rescheduled date?" And then on the way there, the violinist completely canceled because like of reasons that I believe are more Platonian in nature. But she was saying it was about, the rain and everything, but it really wasn't. But it's fine. So the Venus Pluto was showing up because it was like I'm traveling abroad, ninth house, and I have to communicate third house Pluto to try and get this violinist to show up for the moment of our lives that you're canceling the same day.
Yeah.
Which
Special place in hell for her.
it was crazy to me. So I'm arguing with this girl on WhatsApp while we're traveling to the place, and my girlfriend's driving because I need to be on my phone. And I'm with my brother and his girlfriend in the back, and all of a sudden my whole mood shifts. I'm starting to get angry,
Yeah.
emotional. The moon's in my first house in Sag, and I'm just fiery, and it's trining Venus in the ninth, so it's like I'm trying to make it work. Um, so yeah, so essentially, long story short, we wound up in Matera, and it looks like it's gonna rain. Lots of like her not like understanding exactly what's going on with me, but
She's
like
probably a little mad at you because she doesn't understand why you're so moody all of a sudden. If it
exactly.
was me, I'd be like, what the heck?
No, exactly. And she was hungry and she was
Yeah.
fed up with the shit that was going on. And she's just
Oh,
like, "We'll
geez.
just fucking go eat." Because I told her we're gonna go eat. Let's just like
She's
walk
like, I'm
out to the photos
hangry.
first. Yeah, she's getting hangry. And she's just like, "Let's go, let's go." Like, why can't we go? Like, come on. She's like nagging me about like, come on, come on. And I was just like, shut the fuck up. Like, don't worry, it's gonna work out, basically. So what's crazy is we show up to the area, and in the distance, I'll put up a clip. You could see the sky was suddenly turned pink. Out of nowhere, the sky turns pink. Rainbows show up. There's a double rainbow at some point,
It
but a
killed
rainbow
me.
shows up.
Destroyed.
Lightning's in the background because of the rain coming in, which, mind you, it never actually rained. I don't know what was going on, but there was lightning going on where, like, now we're taking a sweet ass time because of photos, but I'm trying to rush her because I'm trying to get these moments for the photos for the proposal. And we get there, and I felt like it was just so like Mercury and Pisces in a Saturnian environment, with the Jupiterian like love of like the moment, and uh, Jupiter is in Cancer, so it's like better than expected. It's like Jupiter can do what he wants. Venus is in Leo, so it's all about the moment. It's all about what we're supposed to be doing, and it's just like everyone was just there and loving and embracing it. And Mercury's there, and everyone wound up talking about it. Mercury was in Leo at the time, and everyone was like talking about it, like it was such a big deal. And for the first time ever, like we were kind of like front center, which never happens to either one of us. So we proposed. I'll show like pictures or whatever.
Yes,
It came out beautiful. It was very fiery, yet like emotionally, I don't even know. It was had this
like
fluid.
charged. It has like an electricness to it or
Yeah. Yeah, it
something.
was really nice. And yeah, so that was pretty much like the moment. And then the Uranus in the seventh, it just like happened. Like it was so unexpected. She
Yeah.
had no idea. I
Do
mean,
you really think she had no idea until the moment was happening? I love that. That's so
well,
cute.
what's funny is that she had the sun in her 12th, and it was like everything that was going on behind the scenes was made to be like, oh my God, like you lied to me for this many months, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
of
oh, it
course.
wasn't just you, it was like her sister, her friends, her like everybody, her family, my family lied to her face over and over and over again. And she's
Mars
like,
and that in your 11th coming to pass. You're like, dang it, it's not like
exactly.
that.
Exactly. So, yeah, she was just like blown away about how it was kept secret the whole time, and yeah, it was really crazy. Yeah.
When
Yeah.
I literally,
And
yeah, please.
one last thing, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no,
The it turns out I realized about the eclipses because when we had the most recent eclipse in the Jupiter Virgo, I realized that as we were planning our engagement um, party, it was during the eclipses, and we accidentally, without realizing accidentally, but we actually planned the engagement party during an eclipse. So it was just like the weirdest thing.
that is so funny, honestly. It's like you don't even get a choice in the matter at times when it comes to like eclipse energy. It's just happening.
Yeah.
Whatever. Major beginnings and major like chapters is what Chris Brennan says. And I think that is definitely the manifestation here. When I saw the photos come to pass on Instagram, like live in real time, I was so exhilarated to see the chart for this because I was like, there has to be some amazing backstory to this chart because of the double rainbow of it all with the lightning, Uranus, and Jupiter. I know Jupiter is such a huge part of your chart, and as your ascendant ruler and all these things. It was such an amazing thing to see for a friend, honestly. So congratulations. And we have to be sure to share some photos because it's gorgeous.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll put up a bunch of photos. The whole thing, I'm actually gonna pull up the chart now, but I'll try
Yeah.
to find it right now as well. What's interesting was like as an astrologer, I wanted to elect it, but I
Yeah.
realized that it was kind of impossible. And so what I did was once I figured out the final week, I looked at like different options for
Mm-hmm.
the what was going to happen, and then it was like within the next day, everything started changing. So I wanted to keep it one way or the other, and it wound up leaning towards the 30th, which worked out. So yeah, I
Totally.
went with it. And you elected your wedding day. What about your
Yes, I have a
engagement?
really funny story with mine too. But like, I think just why I wanted to talk to you about this on the podcast is because I feel like as astrologers, we don't get to always choose. And like, but you get to say moon and Sag instead of, vice versa, Scorpio or Capricorn or something. And you're going to have a lot of like, of that in life, oh, like I have to make this appointment. You can easily like make better choices by looking at like simply the moon alone. But
Mm,
I mean, this is just such an extreme version of that because it is just like out of your control to a degree. You're in a foreign land, all these things. People are there making like, you know, canceling on you and well,
mm.
you have to like be cool, but like it's just so funny like how lunar on the ascendant it is in a way too of like having to like do this moody mask of like your real feelings um of like getting angry but not wanting to ruin the moment. It's just such a perfect manifestation of using it to your advantage as much as possible.
Yeah,
So
I
good.
have the chart. So it's Aries rising with Saturn, Neptune within 8 degrees of the ascendant. And that was trying the moon in the ninth and Mars is in the seventh. So in Libra, which honestly I enjoyed because it was like a timid Mars. It's in detriment, so it wasn't like causing any real like malefic qualities for me. And then I had the Jupiter in the fourth in Cancer, which is like home, obviously.
Yeah.
Um, and then in the fifth house was that Venus and Mercury, which I thought was really cool.
That fourth house thing too, meaning like what comes to mind for me is like you said you were in her like old stomping, like her family. Is that where this proposal happened, or was that not the?
No, it was the actual city itself was just the city that I thought that she would like the most out of the whole
Oh,
trip.
okay.
And it
But
wound
you
up
had
being
visited her family in a, or did she? Did the family? What did the family have to do with this?
my family came with me. I mean, but like the
Yeah.
actual place that we were going to, we didn't visit like the actual place that we didn't visit where she's from, if that's what you're asking.
Okay, but that's still
Yeah.
like kind of cool of a
Oh
like
yeah.
prospect there being like the like generations before her, but then getting proposed to even close by, and then like your future as generations are like stemming from this like literal foundation familiar to her line. It's very cool.
And that Saturn in the first, I felt like was such a perfect reflection of like my experience and hers
Mhm.
because she has the seventh house Aries. So it was seventh house, the Aries is in her seventh house of relationships. Saturn, my story is why this all came to be because it's like I had to learn lessons, grow up to the point of my Saturn return, where it's like, yep, it's time to like get serious and lock things in. Like that's
It's
what
a
that was
perfect
about.
Saturn return manifestation. My wedding was literally 3 days into my exact Saturn return. You just can't
Wow.
make it up. It's
Yeah.
very much a rite of passage in a way that only adults can really decide to do, is like getting like you were very adult about this. You planned accordingly. You like, it's very Saturn good.
Right. No, that's exactly what it was. It was like I had to. There was a lot that went into it. I put a lot of effort into it,
Hmm.
Aries, and there was a Neptune quality where it was like, is this going to go the way it's supposed to? And it wound up not in some ways, but did it work out? Yeah, it did. So it was like, it was all that.
So good.
But I
So,
want to
so
hear
good.
your story and like how you decide the election aspect and everything and the whole beginning to end as an astrologer. Because you've been an astrologer for a number of years now, and you've been deep in astrology for a number of years now. I mean, you might have not like put it out in the open, but you've been like a secret astrologer kind of.
I've been a secret astrologer.
Yeah.
It's true. Definitely a secret astrologer. And it's funny because I did mention when I started my astrology like business in July of, gosh, was that 2023? I was like, I'm coming out the closet. Everyone's like, we already know you're a astrologer.
Right. Right.
But I had to, I was coming out for myself, I suppose. But yeah. So me and Tyler were both very much into astrology. We love elections. We literally just find them for fun. Let me find my chart actually for this. Because we had some help. I was a little too nervous to do it on my own. Um, but so I reached out to the help of an astrologer named Patrick Watson, shout out. I when we talked to him at Norwalk, I got a chance to thank him for that help and stuff. But I did end up tweaking his election because we ended up wanting to do a Friday, and I had told Patrick it was going to be Saturday that we would want because that's usually when days are. But basically, what ended up happening is that I had an election around this time. It was April of 2022. Jupiter in Pisces, Venus in Pisces. Why wouldn't I want that for a wedding day? My husband, now husband, knew about this for maybe 2 years. Tell me why we planned this wedding in 41 days. Because we laid it way into the last possible minute to get it all together. But it was like, that's how I knew elections, like picking the best possible time to do things goes so much further than you could really ever know. Like my dress. So like he ended up getting the ring, proposing. It was like late February. It was nowhere near as extravagant as your proposal because of time's sake more than anything, I feel like. But we were at the beach. It was fine. It was beautiful. Um, but with that, like all the planning had to be done as soon as possible. And we didn't have anything. Like I didn't have a dress, I didn't have a venue picked out. I was never really one of those girls that like dreamt the future wedding I wanted to that much detail, but I knew what chart I wanted, which says a lot about me, I think. Uh, but so because it's Jupiter and it's in Pisces, which is my eighth house, granted, transiting. Jupiter Venus there all month in the leading up to getting this election date for our wedding date, which ended up being April 8th, 2022. Um, like the place I got my dress from, it was like a custom made dress that they never do for people like to measure, like custom measurement, but they were like, "Oh my gosh, we have to do this for you." And like they were able to like literally make my dress from scratch, custom to my exact measurements, which usually takes like the better half of a year or something usually, but they just freaking expedited it. Um, the weather, it's like kind of, I live in Southern California. We were maybe going to be dealing with some like April showers bring May flowers type of thing. It was a freaking summer's day on our wedding day. It was actually almost too hot, Aries season. But like we've gone to the beach almost every year on our anniversary since we got married, which was, 3 years ago. Um, Going on and it's like always been overcast, always gray, always like kind of shitty weather. And it's like amazing because I'm like, remember when we were here on our wedding? Because all of
Right, it
our
was hot.
wedding photos are on the beach, and it was like sun. Like people were coming up to us and going, "Oh my gosh, do you know that it's actually a really auspicious astrology today?" And we're like, "Yeah, we know."
Right? Wow.
It
That's
was really
awesome.
funny. I actually met my wedding photographer the first time that day of. Um, had no idea he has my birthday. We found out on my wedding day that he has my birthday. I mean,
Wow.
what are you talking? What are we? It's just
What?
so many weird little things that kept coming up, and we had it in my grandparents' backyard. My like the help of everyone was so outstanding. It like makes me want to cry when I think about it. It took a village, but it was just like the perfect actual manifestation of what like in hindsight that I truly wanted, even though I didn't know what I wanted. Picking that date really brought everything to the most like storybook level of just adorableness. Very
Yeah.
Pisces, Venus,
Wow.
Jupiter. And the chart is a Virgo rising, which is my husband's chart. So it was in his seventh. He was in a seventh house ruled year.
Mm.
I was in a sixth, but those were going through his seventh, which was very nice. Yeah.
That's super interesting. What's funny too, now that you mentioned the Jupiter Venus, I had the Jupiter, I forgot to mention this, the Jupiter Venus conjunction in my eighth is when I definitively finalized the entire proposal.
No way. That
Yeah,
is so
yeah. So
cool.
that's weird that there's that same synchronistic stuff here, but yeah, I almost want to like go down that eighth house. I know we just did an eighth house episode,
I
but like
know.
that eighth
No, I
house,
actually welcome it. We could totally go there.
no, yeah, I love how that Jupiter Venus in the eighth, everyone's out to help you. It's such
Yeah.
like a intimate, loving time. Like things just feel great. Everything's magical coming together. It's such like a Venus in her exaltation and Jupiter
Yeah.
in the domicile. Wow, yeah, what a beautiful like experience that must have been for you, especially Tyler too in the seventh house. I mean, this is it's such like an amazing time.
Yeah, it was really special. I'll share the chart here too, in post, but it was like we had it was so funny because it was like in my grandparents' backyard. There was no like we need to start right now. And you know me, I'm always
Mhm.
running late for it, literally everything. And so like we had like it was like our wedding day, right? I'm like at my best friend's like getting ready for my wedding, like in my like white robe, like hair like all like pinned up, like makeup being put on. And it was just her and I. There was like no team, like no glam squad or anything, but it was so funny because like him and I are texting like, okay, well, we need this much more time. So what is the moon going to be at like in like 20 minutes, let's say, but if, like add 20 more to that. It's like so much like he's a Virgo rising.
Mhm.
My Venus is in Virgo, so it was like special to me to be like doing this like very detailed planning literally minutes up until the very
Yeah.
last minute. And it was so funny because it was like all these funny little stories I could go into, but like the eighth house of it all, now that I think about it, I like walked up the stairs because I got ready at my friend's house. We drove to my grandparents, and then my grandma is a Pisces, as I said in the last episode, which is funny. And we walk up the fucking stairs, and I didn't think about it, but I'm like, everyone's gonna see the bride before the wedding if I walk in through this
Sure.
back door.
Right.
It's gonna be horrible luck. And so I'm like, literally like over the fence. I'm like, everyone turn around. Like you can't look at me. So like I made everyone, guests, family, friends, turn around and close their eyes. And like not look at me. It was just so funny. Except for the photographer, which he caught on camera.
Mm.
Thank
Was
goodness,
this
because
all going down during a Virgo rising?
it's a good question. Let me look.
How long, like how long you think that time? Because the chart for the actual I do was it a Virgo rising?
Yeah, yeah. It
Okay.
was 4:44 p.m. Manhattan Beach, California. And we didn't plan for that 4:44. That just happened.
That's yeah, that's pretty that's like alignment 101. I don't know how to change that. That's
Exactly.
crazy.
Yeah.
Was it a
On a
big
Friday.
wedding? I imagine it being like intimately big, like a feeling like everyone's who matters is there.
Yeah, people flew in all of a sudden. Like it was insane. Like I can't make it up. Like I always will use this as to why elections work when they're done right. Like it just fell into place. And like obviously us getting married is a big deal, but like it's like why was Tyler's grandma who lives in Philadelphia able to like literally drop what she was doing and fly in? COVID was happening at that point, but just fell away. All these things opened back up. Like the world seemed really like in a better place after like this like really kind of crazy time. Obviously after 2020 it was like that like everyone felt
Mhm.
free again too happening. And yeah, it was just a really really special little time in my
That's nice.
opinion.
So that was the Virgo rising. The fourth house would have been Sagittarius.
Yes.
Wow. And it was at your grandmother's place, and she's Sag rising. That's really
Yeah.
interesting. Wow.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
cool. That's
It's
cool.
so cool. Why can't I find my wedding chart? Here it is. uh, uh sorry, why is my wedding chart
And the
not
Mer where was that Mercury?
here?
If it was a
What?
Virgo rising chart, so the ascendant ruler um would
Sorry, we're gonna let me cut for a second, maybe. Okay, S and T. I thought I had it under
I was
T
trying to like
house.
fill in the void of the
Sorry.
I was just like talking out of my
I
ass.
started panicking. I
I
started
didn't mean
panicking.
to make you pressure.
Okay. Okay. What did you ask me? The Mercury. So it was just a really special time in my opinion. But that was the thing too. The moon was in Cancer in the 11th, the gathering of people, closest to us. Um, Mercury was in the 8th, conjoined the sun. Um, 19 degrees. Oh, yeah. So the sun was at 19 Aries and Mercury was at 25 Aries. And Neptune was conjunct Jupiter too in the 7th. But
Interesting.
Sun
That's
and
crazy.
Mercury in the 8th, which I always like laugh because I'm like, well, that was just the contract that any marriage is. Okay.
Yeah, no,
Even though it rules
yeah.
the rising sign.
Honestly, yeah, that's yeah, it's literally signing yourself contractually away to the other person.
Yeah. And like becoming somewhat like the identity wrapped up. And it was like cool because the sun is in its exact degree of exaltation at 19 Aries. And so with that, I feel like our new identity began in this like weird
Mm.
way of
Could you explain a
Mercury.
little bit about the exaltation degrees and like what that is?
Yeah. So exaltation degrees are so every planet has a sign that it exalts in, meaning not in domicile, but it kind of cleans up. I love exaltation planets. So it kind of takes away that like naturalness of the domicile and like fixes it up. I always kind of equate it to this kind of a bad example of explaining it, but kind of like a spoiled brat domicile planet,
Mm.
but like the domicile planet is like Sun and Leo, like I'm like it's kind of there's a laziness at times, not always. It's just in its home.
It's
It's
comfortable.
it's
This one's very
comfortable.
comfortable to do what it needs to do. And
Exactly. In Aries, it gets to prove itself and
yeah.
like gets to do the hard work and put in the work and earn respect. So with the degree of it all, it's
Without
really
hardship either. I mean, it's kind of like it can just it's like lifted up.
exactly to exalt, to be lifted and celebrated. And yeah, there's an earnedness to it. And so the exaltation degrees are always really fun. I actually don't really know off the top of my head how they are decided. I don't, do you know? Is that even knowledge that we have? I'm not sure. I'm sure there is. People will let us know, hopefully. But so the exaltation degree, you just get that most perfect version of that planet that's not technically in because there's no domicile degree that I know of or anything like that. You only get the exaltation degrees, and I think you get fallen degrees. I don't know why.
Interesting, interesting. Well, I
Interesting.
think overall, I mean, I couldn't think of a more perfect way to have a marriage that feels comforting, welcoming, loving, joyous. I mean, that's all you need.
Exactly. And it was just so wholesome. Honestly, just like your like proposal story. Obviously, you haven't had your wedding date yet, but like you'll find that as well throughout all the little things and planning the wedding. Like it's prepare to get emotional, honestly. Like the people are like people really come together in marriages, like at large with the family and
Mhm.
stuff. It's really sweet.
Yeah, something I noticed is like the difference between a relational experience where it's like, the Venus speaking, let's just say, versus
Mhm.
like an actual agreement with somebody. Like once it got real after the proposal, people always say like, yeah, it's like not really that big of a difference, which it isn't, but there's like a level of you're now more than the consideration of family. You're more like physically family, which I'm not
Yeah,
married yet, but we're getting to that point. So there's a big difference in that what that brings to someone.
I had a whole identity crisis almost after the fact. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm no longer just this one solo thing. And it's like we were together for 8 years when we finally got married. So, like, very similar to you guys. And it's like nothing really did change. But having, like, when I had started calling him my husband, it took me a year probably to like get used to saying that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's so overwhelming. You don't expect it to like shift so much. But obviously, it's a huge deal. And
I know people are going to be curious, but is there any way you could just like give a brief overview of what it means to elect for a certain day, or if you have a special occasion coming up? And as astrologers, we love to like overthink, overanalyze things to a point, but you reach a point where you're comfortable enough to be like, okay, like if I'm gonna utilize astrology, let me think ahead and try and find the best possible scenario. So if you have something special coming up, or if like something you want to plan for, how can electional astrology help this, a person who, say,
yeah,
like your examples, was
setting up
planning a
for
wedding?
success, setting up for
Yeah.
success of whatever endeavor you're trying to get to. So there's a couple different ways. I will not try to go into any detail because it's intense as heck to elect something important like a marriage or the beginning of a business, what have you. I encourage everyone to reach out to your friends, the electional astrologers, for help because it's a process. But with that, what you're trying to do is there's general elections, which is like the astrology podcasts that they do, like Lisa and Chris. They do general elections. So general elections are what is like all the planets are in pretty good, decent working condition, and they're all like it's like you're taking the whole chart into account. These are great. I love them. But if you're going to do a marriage or something, it gets a little harder because you really just want to make sure Venus and whatever is ruling that seventh house is in the most perfect condition possible. It's almost like electing like a talisman or something. You're trying to get the creme de la creme of that planet in its like I said, in its condition as a transit. This is very hard to do. You have to make sure that planet is not making any sort of aspect to a malefic. You have to take into consideration the moon, and the moon cannot be touching anything malefic or making any hard aspects. And you need that planet, let's say Venus, for a marriage. You need the moon to be in good shape, Venus to be in good shape, and making a connection, hopefully a sextile or a trine or a conjunction, something of this nature, because the moon brings manifestation. And it's just really one of the coolest things that I've learned how to do throughout the years. It is tireless. I probably have like 700 electional charts saved to my database, like just
Oh
willy
my God.
nilly, willy nilly. Um, it's a pastime, but it is like that's an extreme. Obviously, you can definitely I take into consideration the day of Venus, the hour of Venus of my wedding, of course, because we had full control. We made sure to have Venus in the seventh in Pisces, co-present Jupiter, Neptune, making a trine to the moon, and it wasn't Venus's day and hour. So it was just Friday at like 4 o'clock. Does that answer the question?
It does. I think
Okay.
electional astrology is a representation of the experience that you'll experience. Like
Yes,
that's the most simplest way to put it. And if you're trying to like optimize that, like Sam said, if you're trying to be at its best, most easiest function, you want to utilize what you have in front of you to give yourself the easiest, best opportunities by utilizing the benefics, for example.
perfectly
So
said.
Yeah.
Perfectly said. It's also like take into consideration things about your chart that you don't really care for. You have a power and control over elections that to get the best manifestation in your
Definitely.
life at the
And it's
time.
also not just about the moment, but it's also how like your own chart, like how it affects you. Because you could have a
Yeah.
great chart externally, but it'd be squaring and oppositions left, right, and center. So you want to like mitigate that, which is why election astrology is like a whole
It's a whole
different,
branch, yeah.
yeah, it's a whole branch of astrology that we're not entirely professionals
I'm good.
at.
I'm not that good. I'm no
Yeah.
expert whatsoever. I mean I did ace my FOA to exam elections, but just
Yeah, you
humble
definitely
bragging
definitely got
bragging.
the badge on the
Exactly. But thank you for like telling us that story, James. That was so wonderful. And
you too.
congratulations.
Yeah, no, thank you. And you are like you're definitely more of like a hunker down astrologer than I think I could ever be. So the fact that you elected your wedding, which I'm probably gonna wind up doing, to be
I'm
honest.
gonna I'm gonna
Pretty
help
cool.
you if you decide. I'll be like, let me help.
Funny enough, let me actually see what we elected for our not like we didn't purposely elect it, but let's just see what the election is.
The inception chart, I
The
think that's
ins
called.
Look at that lingo you got going on. Let's take a look and see what my engagement would be. Libra rising.
There's a
Libra
theme
rising.
here I'm
Oh,
seeing.
actually, no, I lied. Hold on.
Oh man.
By the time the party starts, it would be a Libra rising, but it would actually be a yeah, Virgo rising.
Virgo
And
rising. Hey, I think it's fun.
yeah, so then it would be the seventh house would have Venus in Pisces, Mercury in Pisces, the Sun, the North Node, Saturn and Neptune would be in the eighth conjunct, and Jupiter would be in my 11th, which I think is pretty nice. Jupiter and exalted in a party in the 11th would
Yeah,
be nice.
definitely. That'll be a fun party, honestly. Parties are going to be so much more lax of an election anyway. It's not a binding contract or anything. It's like you want it to be socially graceful, obviously, and you want it to be fun because it is important, but it's not like the wedding or
Mhm.
anything, but it's still fun. I mean, I'll elect anything with if you want me to help
Right.
at all.
All
I'm
right.
the crazy one, the crazy astrologer friend.
No,
Sorry.
no, you're like not the crazy one, you're the crazy good one, the one that you
The
want to get
crazy good
married.
one.
Yeah.
My best friend, I elected her wedding too.
Did
So
you?
yeah,
Is there like a service that people can get on
I
your
know.
web?
I need to like put this on my website or something.
I know you might have one or two people, or maybe five or six, reach out just to be like,
Hey,
hey,
I'm
can
willing
you
to
get your
help.
husband? Yeah.
I might have it already like saved in my database. Good charts for you. So
Yeah, I mean, if you got them, send them my way, please,
yeah, I
guys.
will. All right. Well, where can we find more about you, James?
You can find me at jamespipton.com.
Where can others find you? Get it? Seventh house. Eh?
You can find me on Instagram, James underscore Piptone. And Sam, where can people book an electional astrology chart? What
Samantha Hammer.
astrology,
Yeah.
electional astrology consultation? What would you call that?
I guess that would be a consultation. Yeah.
Where would they
Yeah.
find you to do that whenever you decide to put that out there, which should be soon?
Yeah, I'll be putting that listing up probably momentarily, but Samantha Hammer Astrology.com. Anything on social media, I can be found under Samantha Hammer Astrology. So if I am there, just look me up and I'll be under that name.
All right.
But anyway, thank you, James.
Thank you
Congrats
for sharing your
again.
story. Congrats to you 2 years later.
Thank you. We'll see you guys next time. And if
See
you
you
guys
later.
have good electional or like marriage stories or anything, feel free to share them in the
Oh yeah,
comments.
definitely. Share the
Yeah.
stories down below, please. Or
Please,
reply
we
to
would
us
love
in
to hear.
messages. All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye.